All right. So we are in Boston for the Boston Marathon with one of my long-term clients and good friend Ethan Bates. Man, how you doing? How you feeling for the Boston Marathon tomorrow?
Nervously excited.
Nervously excited. That's a good place to be. Use that adrenaline for good. So I have known Ethan for 4 years now through multiple Best Ranger competitions, which would be safe to say that's like the toughest competition the Army has to
Oh
offer,
yeah,
I
for
would say.
sure.
Yeah. It's like 3 days of just brutal ultra marathon running, rucking, shooting competitions, all that. And then after that, we trained for multiple marathons together. And now, year ago, he qualified for the Boston Marathon. But we're going to just walk you through that whole history through this video. Then we're going to go eat some dinner, continue wargaming for tomorrow, and then just keep following along. And I'm going to document as much tomorrow as I can and just fill you in on all of the wargaming we do, all the strategies, all the secrets as it just unfolds in real time. So we met 4 years ago when a
Yeah.
Sergeant Major, Sergeant Major West, the goat of Sergeant
That
Majors,
guy, yeah.
just asked me to put together a team and coach for the Best Ranger competition.
Yeah.
And I just remember, I think it was like the first time meeting you, right? Was in the initial
I think
like
yeah, the
meeting
fitness
of the
test.
10 people that came
Yeah.
in, and I had to give this PowerPoint
Yeah.
presentation of like what we were gonna do. And there's like 10 lieutenant, well, not all lieutenants,
We
but
had
there's a
one
couple.
sergeant,
It
one
was only
student.
one. No, there's one sergeant, one specialist. But either way, we had 10 just awesome
Yeah.
guys show up, and we weeded them out along the way to just you and our old good friend Lieutenant Ong,
Yeah.
who's I'm still actually coaching him. We really just learned how to program for stuff like this over the years, like
Yeah.
tactically and running. So if you were to just look back down memory lane on how we used to train back then, what would be the word you would put? I would say uphill athlete.
Oh, that was our favorite word. Me and Ong's favorite
Uphill
word was
athlete.
uphill. I think,
Uphill.
yeah, all of the first BRC train up, it was our little chant to each other. It was uphill.
So uphill athlete was the civilian coaching um, sphere that I pulled a lot of my initial inspiration for how to train these guys, because I was just always trying to learn on how to, program for extreme levels of endurance and then also strength training at the same time. And Uphill Athlete was a civilian mountaineering company where they, basically trained people with heavy packs to walk up mountains. So a lot of it was very relevant. And we made a ton of progress. I remember when I first started working with you, your zone two pace, you didn't even know what it was.
No.
Did you? Because
No.
that, like, zone two, I had to really, encourage actually doing zone two. And it
Yeah,
actually took like 2 or 3 months for you to buy in on it.
it did.
Because you just would go and teach like two 10-mile runs a week,
Yeah.
and they'd be at like zone four, and he would just pull off like freak level paces with that, right? But for elite level endurance, it needed to be zone two.
It's true.
So once we dialed that in, you started at like 9:30 per minute per minute mile,
Hmm.
zone two paces. And in that train up, you got to like 8 minute miles. And we did well on that first competition. But as a team that started with like 20-mile weeks,
Yeah.
we worked up to, I believe, 50-mile weeks
Yeah,
in
somewhere
that
around
first train up. And I'll be honest, we did a little too much strength training,
there.
and which is how it's adapted over the years, because so many people like just mashing together a full strength program and a full endurance program. And how it's developed over the years is just kind of one consolidated stress leg heavy day a week,
Yeah.
which we transferred into the next year's Best Ranger competition. We
Hmm.
still did good in year one, right?
Yeah, we
We made it
did.
today too. You're pretty happy with that. But how'd you like that training that first year?
I remember it being so different. I mean, like you said, with the mile times and my running, like it seemed counterintuitive to
Yeah.
run slower to end up being faster in the long run on game day for
Yeah.
endurance. So it was a kind of a shock to the system to like you got to slow down to get better
Yeah.
overall.
And
Yeah.
still have our high intensity running 1-2 days a week.
Yeah.
And I remember you guys stuck with that for a little while, and then everything just skyrocketed.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
then you were fully just
once we saw the improvement, I think me and Ong were both like fully
Yeah.
invested. Yeah.
So we did good, but we did as good as we could getting to day 2. Then the next year, I moved out to Fort Campbell sometime in the middle of the year, and then I was still coached you guys virtually,
Yeah.
which was a lot of fun, and it really kind of I coached you in a way over Training Peaks on how I now do the private coaching through Transcend Endurance. You guys didn't have much support other than me.
You
That
are our
second
only
year.
support, yeah.
Either year, yeah, it's tough. You need a lot of support for the best
Yeah.
ranger competition for shooting, tactical, technical events. But either way, you take what you can get and you do the best with what you got. And you guys did great that year as well. Physically, year 2, you improved even a lot more. I think year 1, we got down to like 8-minute per mile paces on zone 2. That'll just be one of the only metrics. We got a lot stronger in year 2
Yeah.
with less actual lifting because like we were finding that sweet spot on how much was enough to train for it. And I think it was about 7:30 minute mile pace that you improved over that year. Oh, and that whole 2 years, full-time lieutenant.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So a pretty busy, work-life balance on top of training for a huge competition that the winners, they just train full-time.
And have 20 people supporting them.
So how was it training year 2? Anything?
I mean, the training was nice because we knew what worked, we knew how to do it, and it wasn't like this fighting at the beginning. Like it was just
Yeah.
continuing what we had already built on. I think we definitely liked having Training Peaks and having you there to help us because, like you said, we had zero support at our base. It was
Yeah.
just me and Ong like training ourselves, and then you putting in the work from far away.
Yeah, it was we still made lots of improvement and it was a good train up. Like continued to learn, adapt the systems,
Yeah.
and shortly after that, you went into the police force. You got out of the
Yeah.
Army. I don't know, maybe like within 6 months of that competition, right?
Yeah,
Was it?
because the competition was in April and I was out at the end of July.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we transitioned out. You moved to Florida
Yeah.
with your awesome girlfriend Jane, who's
Yeah.
now fiance. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
And man, you all of a sudden had a great work-life balance. Like I think you were a lot happier.
Yeah.
We started training with way less than what we did in the Best Ranger competition,
Yeah.
and your performance just skyrocketed.
It was awesome. Being on like a school schedule for like the police academy, like Monday through Friday, like 7 to 4 or something like that. It was so easy to lift in the morning and then run afterwards and still be home before Jaden gets home from work and stuff.
Yeah, and as a lieutenant in the Army, he was working a lot of 10, 12-hour days. In fact, like probably most days of the week.
Yeah, field time,
like
live fires.
going out to the field for 3 weeks at a time. Yeah. So you had great balance, and then we trained you up for, what was the name of the race that you ran a year ago?
Marathon of the Treasure Coast.
The Treasure Coast one, yeah. In Florida, moderately hilly. I think it was like 400 or 500 feet of elevation.
Yeah.
So not completely flat like Florida. And you just smoked that marathon.
Yeah, I didn't expect it.
Yeah, I mean, I expected it, to be honest. You were like cruising at like 7 minute per mile zone 2 paces.
Yeah.
I think that was for sure high end of zone 2.
Yeah.
Because then you ran that marathon at a 6:24 minute mile pace and just smoked it. Qualified just by the hairs of your chinny chin chin. So that's 2 hours, 47 minutes, and 50 something seconds.
Yeah.
And that barely qualified you for this race.
Yeah.
So this race is legit, that's for sure. And it was all about that work-life balance, and we just dialed it in. And then over the next year, we didn't do any other actual big races. We just did some kind of practice training run races where we did a 5K, I think about 8 months ago, and then a 10K 6 months ago ish.
Yeah.
Because you got into the police force,
Yeah.
you graduated, and then all of a sudden the midnight shift settled in.
The real part of the job hit.
Yeah, the real part of the job hit, and it kind of was flashback to the Army days a little bit. You still had great consistency, great dedication. You knew how to auto-regulate when you needed to just not go as fast.
Yeah.
But I think your stress levels kind of got locked into just fight or flight mode.
Yeah, definitely for a while, because I mean, after the police academy, it was field training, and so for 3 months, I had a new schedule month 1, a new schedule month 2, a new schedule month 3, and throughout all of that, you're being evaluated to actually work the job, and then you go into the actual job of policing by yourself. And then that's a new schedule. I think I was on that schedule for 3 or 4 months before I switched to midnights. Yeah. So, I mean, like, throughout that 8-month period time or whatever it was, I had 5 different schedules that you helped me work around, and my body was probably just freaking out from that.
But we made sure to go super easy on your easy paces in order to reset your central nervous system. And just ease into those runs nice and slowly, because you just had a chaotic work schedule. But the Army prepared you for that, on how to mentally handle that, for sure. But like, your nervous system can only handle so much. And once we kind of, at first you were like, I don't need to ease into the first 2. What the heck? And I was like, all right, no faster than this. And you were like, that's stupid slow. It's not even worth it. And then all of a sudden you started feeling good and relaxed on your runs again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just classic me fighting you at first. And then it works out.
I know because it had worked forever until that work stress came back and just started kicking that aerobic system straight in the kidney. But we worked through that. We dialed back the high intensity a little bit from what volumes you had been able to handle in the past, but we kind of dialed you back a little bit to something that you could handle, and then we were much more productive on that about halfway through this specific train up. And dude, you finished this train up really strong. Like, how you feeling overall?
I feel good. I mean, it's like crazy how you'd like go into the taper, and I think me and Ong talk about this every time, where it's like going into BRC, going into every major race we train for together, it's like, I don't know if I feel tired enough, like maybe I'll skip this run, and then all of a sudden it's the day before and you're like, I feel great, like, I can go crush this.
Or like week 1 of the taper, at the end of the week you realize how much fatigue you actually had. And you just start like sleeping like way more. It's like the taper slump.
It's true.
Like, you're kind of in just hype mode, like max volume, and you go into that taper and you don't realize how much you earned that taper.
Yeah, I think we realized that even in like just regular training, when you hit the deload week, and it's like, I'm sleeping so much more in this even just 1 week period to catch up to get ready for the next one.
Yeah, and you've gotten really close to your best paces. I think you actually may be at your best paces now.
Yeah.
You just don't really realize it. I think the taper's going to do what it's doing.
Yeah.
And I think since we were going easier on those zone 2 paces, you're actually the same fitness you were at when you were doing those 7-minute mile zone 2 paces. But they were kind of like high-end zone 2. Now you're low-end zone 2, running 7:15, 7:30 minute per mile. So I think you're going to surprise yourself with how it's like 40 degrees cooler.
Dude, I know. That was another thing from this training period. I felt like the Treasure Coast Marathon train up, we had the advantage of the school schedule and the weather. I don't remember it being that hot in our first Florida winter. But now this one specifically, I feel like it's been 80s every single day. We had 1 cold week, and that was it.
It was the same where I'm at, man, in Tennessee. Like, it's just been the hottest. Yeah, it's global warming.
It's killing runners everywhere.
It's killing runners everywhere. But here in Boston, it's going to be like in the 40s for his entire race. It's not going to go up. above in the 40s, which is like optimal race temperature. Cooler than that, you have to bundle up and you actually end up sweating more. And hotter than that, obviously, then you start slowing down from just the heat and your body just wasting a whole bunch of energy cooling itself off. So that's going to be big. That could literally be 10 to 20%.
That's
fast,
crazy.
like, of an improvement compared to 70, 80. And you were running in the middle of the day after your midnight shift in Florida. So it's not even like you were running first thing in the morning. You just had direct sunlight on you.
Go to bed at 8 a.m., wake up at 4, and you're in the heat of the day.
Yeah. So you smoked it, man. You're ready. We're going to go war game over dinner now. We probably already turned this longer than it should have been, but it's been great conversation. I'm excited about tomorrow.
Me too.
You're going to crush it. Anything else you want to say?
Sign up with Dave. He's got the magic tricks for you.
Thanks, brother. All right. We'll see you tomorrow. Awesome race day.
Let's go.
All right. Here we are at the 7-ish, 8 mile marker on the course. And super excited to see Ethan. We got here very early today just to make sure to beat the traffic. It's going to be a heavy, difficult logistics today. But we're going to try to see him at like mile 7. And then also at mile 20 at the famous Heartbreak Hill, and then try to make it to the finish line. And we're going to have to use all sorts of different public transportation and stuff to get there. We had a great dinner last night. We talked a lot about his nutrition strategy, getting a meal this morning, and then getting in a lot of extra carbs and electrolytes because he's got to get out to this start line very early. So we got the nutrition strategy dialed in. I made him eat a lot of potatoes for the extra potassium last night so he stays hydrated. Weather's perfect for him. Nice 40 degrees. He's going to have a tailwind on his back, so he's got that for him. We also really dialed in his pacing strategy because he's got heavy downhill in the first 4 miles. So he's going to take it easier and than he could, because he could very easily go about 30 seconds per mile faster than race pace. So he's going to go only at race pace, and that's going to feel incredibly easy, but he's going to save his legs from a lot of that downhill impact and eccentric load, which would catch up to him around mile 20, because it's delayed, just muscular tear fatigue is what it builds up. Then he's going to take it and just go into steady state marathon mode from mile 5 to 15. Which is kind of where we'll see him in between there. And then he's got to fight uphills from like 16 to 21. So he's going to have to go a little bit slower and just, sacrifice that time so he doesn't just create way too much fatigue. And then after we see him at Heartbreak Hill around mile 20, he's just going to send it because it's very downhill after mile 20 for those last 6 miles. And I was also talking with him this morning about mental strategy, which is everything. He had those pre-race, jitters, a little bit of anxiety that we all get, but we funneled that energy, that adrenaline for good, because you can let it just kind of just build up and lead to anxiety, or you can use that adrenaline to be a performance booster, but it's all about how you perceive it. We talked about just shifting his attention from his why sometimes. So a lot of people get wrapped in this loop of just only thinking about one thing, the pain, and then they just don't think about anything else. And it just is a downward spiral. So he's going to go with his why, which is a very strong internal motivation. And then he's going to shift between that and also just thinking about his present state, because especially in the second half of the marathon, it's easy to just think about how many more miles you have. But when you just check into your present state, you realize that it's not as much pain as you think. And you can handle that at least for another mile, and then another mile after that. And then think about your next short-term goal, or your next short-term thing you're shooting for, which is your next gel, your next water station, what next hill you're going to be going, what pace you're at for this mile. So think short-term and then go completely external. Just look at buildings. Pay attention to other runners, maybe even talk and support other runners, and just bring your attention completely external. And then that just takes all shift away. And then go back to your why. And then just keep shifting your focus. And that really helps break up the monotony of the race. All right, well, that's enough talk of me talking. We're going to just keep recording, and we'll see him in another couple hours. All right, Ethan just started. It's just past 10 o'clock, so we're eagerly waiting. We're actually at mile 10 and a quarter, so we got a little bit of time before we see him. So as all the pros are tracking right now, Ethan is at mile 4, and he's right on schedule, doing 6:30-minute mile pace, so right on point.
Yeah.
All right, so we just saw him. It was a miracle we actually saw him because he changed his shirt. We were looking for a light blue teal shirt, and he runs by in a dark blue shirt. It was a miracle he was on the left side and saw us. But he looked really good, really strong. Now we're heading to mile 20. So we're having a tough time getting all the way across Boston. Can't find parking, couldn't get on the subways, but now we're trying to get on a train. But he just passed Heartbreak Hill. He's doing pretty good. He slowed down about what we expected him to, and now he's just got to power through the last 4 miles. Ethan!
Dave!
Finished strong, man.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Couple minutes ahead of what we predicted you. How did the race go, man?
Those hills were brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the end of it, it felt like my legs were like falling apart, locking up, but we just pushed through.
Yeah, and we tried to prepare for the hills as best we could, but in Florida, you had one hill to train on.
Yeah.
A manufactured bridge.
A bridge to cross the water, yeah.
For sure. No, you did really good, man. You did as good as I hoped for. I know you wanted a little bit faster and you raced faster, but on the Boston Marathon, that was awesome.
Yeah, it was before knowing how tough the course was. A Florida course, 100% would have loved to go faster, but I'm happy with this now after doing it.
Congratulations. You got to eat lots of food, recover, spend some extra time relaxing this week.
Absolutely.
All the fun with your fiance, and I'm really proud of you, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Couldn't have done it without you.
You're welcome, man. You did awesome.
Thank you.
Ethan really crushed that marathon. I'm super proud of him. 38 per mile at the Boston Marathon it's a huge accomplishment for him. With those hills, which we knew were going to be really tough, and there was only so much we could do in Florida. So being a few minutes ahead of predicted pace was awesome for pulling off a huge race like this. His pre-race fueling was great. He could have had some more gels, so he's going to try some different gels next time, but hydration levels were good. He executed it well, paced it well. Super proud of him. This is why I love coaching, and just why this isn't even a job to me. It's just something I love doing, because being a coach, especially at one of these marathons, it is just very fulfilling. I was practically more anxious, I feel like, than Ethan was. I was just on the tip of my toes the whole time, just imagining how he was feeling, because, I know how it feels to run marathons myself. So, this is just one of the most fulfilling moments that I can ask for. So, until next time, embrace the process.